Yes, another chapter of the Dales Diary in Glenda Mackay keeps us fit in Tonight Now with Christine Talbot.
Hello and welcome to Tonight on Monday. On the show this evening, Luke Casey meets the man who left chemicals for the special chemistry of the Dales. Glenda's pounding the beat with the former Heartbeat Sergeant Oscar Blaketon. And Georgie's in a race against time to renovate a Yorkshire workshop with a difference. All that plus an interview with top-selling author Joanna Trollope. That's all coming up in the next half hour. But first, here's Luke. Hello, Luke. Nice to see you
Christine.
again.
Yes, and
it's a
yourself.
while since you've been in studio, isn't it?
It is, yes. A bit of winter hibernation, but last week we were back in the Dales with a vengeance.
Well, it's been good weather, hasn't it?
Yes, well, I have to say the weather was a bit variable.
Oh.
I mean, we got up there, we were up in the high hill country, and we got snow, gales, rain.
Well, I know.
But it was still very enjoyable.
I forgot about those gales last week.
Oh, that's right.
Well.
When you're up about 1,200 feet, you know what I mean.
So
but the snow has its own charm, of course.
Of course. It always, I think the Dales is gorgeous in the winter.
And then you get this lovely late winter sunlight that really makes the landscape come alive. So that was, and you feel ever so virtuous too, thinking of all you people down in centrally heated offices. You know?
All right, you've got us all tempted. Lots to look forward to, obviously. What kind of people will you be meeting over the next few weeks?
Plenty of characters. We've got the gamekeeper who looks after single-handedly his own grouse moor. We've got a young man who started his own one-man walking company to show tourists things they'd never see from their cars.
And what's coming up tonight?
Tonight, actually, I thought we'd try something very different. It's about Dales pottery. And, you know, you think of arty, crafty things, but this isn't.
Let's take a look. Sounds good.
The weather wasn't at its kindest for my visit to the historic Littlethorpe Pottery, a mile or two just outside Ripon. But at least I could console myself with the thought that I'd soon be inside, watching Rowley Curtis throwing a few pots. What I actually found looked more like a scene from the trenches. Days of incessant rain had turned the area into a quagmire. But if your trade relies on digging the clay from your own pit at the bottom of the garden, there's not much option but to put your best foot forward.
Well, it's been here since 1831, which makes us the oldest country pottery that's still around. There were lots of others originally, but most of them have sort of fallen by the wayside over the years. A lot of them when plastic pots came onto the market, but we've sort of managed to keep going, and there seems to be a fair old upsurge in demand for patio pots and some of the old traditional pots now. When I was very young, perhaps as young as 6, I used to sneak in here as often as I could and jump on the potter's wheel and make a few pots. So it goes back quite a long time.
And you went on, I understand, to help your father in the business as a youngster.
I did, yes, but when I left school, business was pretty awful, really. It's just when plastic pots had come on the scene. So I'm actually an industrial chemist by training, and I came back to this in my early 30s when Dad retired. I packed my job up in the chemical business and came here to do this.
Now, I know a lot of people will be absolutely fascinated to know that actually you dig your own clay out of pits a couple of 100 yards away. Can you tell me about that?
Well, it may sound a bit odd, but it's not too bad a way to get it out of there. You know, you can actually dig a ton of clay in about half an hour with your shovel and fork it into your truck, and you can be a little bit choosy with a shovel. If there's some impurities around, you can find them with a shovel where you wouldn't necessarily find them with a JCB or a mechanical machine.
So it's the pure, basic, genuine local stuff?
It is, yeah, it is, and there's lots of it around here. The seam, I think in its deepest, according to the geologist, it's about 48 feet deep, and there's quite a few acres of it left, so there's a tremendous reserve of it, really.
Now, once you've dug it out and you shovel it into this hopper, you've got this wonderful contraption to get it up into the pottery itself.
Well, we have a little narrow gauge railway track which runs from wherever we're digging clay to about 100 yards from the shed where we process the clay. And I actually just push it along the track. And when we get it to near where the stream is, where we hang the hook on, that's when the machine takes over. It's a straight pull into the back of the shed. It's about 110 yards. Pulls in with a wire rope using an old-fashioned friction winch. And that pulls it into the shed where we process the clay, and can be in the ground 1 minute and made into pots 5 minutes later.
So once you tip the hopper out, what happens to the clay then?
Well, I fork it or shovel it into a machine called the potter's best friend. It's a pug mill, really. And when you dig clay, you get stiff bits and soft bits, and that mixes it all together and makes it one nice consistency, which makes it nice and easy to make. It's really like, I suppose the nearest thing is like it's like a big sausage machine.
Now, what sort of things do you make here?
Mainly plant containers. We do a few bread crocks and jugs and that sort of thing, but mainly plant containers. We have quite a big range. We make big pots with handles on, just great big plant pots. A lot of the very old-fashioned things in the last few years have come back into prominence now. We make things like rhubarb forces, old-fashioned traditional long toms, agapanthus pots, box pots. A lot of the old traditional ones are very popular now, and we probably spend a good percentage of our production time making those. And it's gone a stage further now. I think there are gardening programs on television, numerous books produced showing how the gardens used to be and how to make your garden nice by scattering a few pots around. So I think all that sort of helped us, and that's probably why we managed to carry on. I think once you've had your hands into clay, it tends to stick to you. It was a big decision. I wasn't certain at the time whether it was the right one, but it's a decision that we made, and it's kept the old pottery in production for another 20 or 30 years, and I don't really regret it one little bit.
I find that quite fascinating, actually. Well, it's time now to join Georgie Spanswick, who's joined the Action Time team as Si takes a short break. Earlier today, she was in Sheffield to report on the progress of our challenge that's going to benefit young children whose parents are on low incomes. Now, the deadline is Friday, and we still need lots of help. The number to ring is on your screens right now. It's free call 0500 200 150, so it won't cost a penny to get involved. Here's Georgie.
Once again, we've returned to Garden Street in the heart of Sheffield to follow up on the cottage project. You may remember, Si launched it last week, and we're always on the want. And of course, first up to join us, Lavers, lovely Lavers. Whey! Thank you, Mark Hagan.
Hiya.
You're a star.
Oh,
lots of lovely wood.
That's right. We just unloading what we brought down today to make basically a H-frame up for the stores, for the timber.
Oh, that's where they're going to keep their timber.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Fairly hefty piece of equipment, really, isn't it? How much is that amounting to?
It's about £200 worth there.
Really?
Yeah.
200 quid's worth of wood?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. I like a bit of 2x4.
That's right.
What else have you got? Have you got anything else you can donate?
Well, actually, we're donating a kitchen as well.
Oh, fantastic.
We've just brought that down, and we're going to fit it for them.
Fantastic. And is that down now? You got that today?
That's just arrived, yep.
Oh, lovely. I'll go and put the kettle on
All
and
right.
see what's going on inside.
Right.
Lots more to see. Lots more to see. Now, just to refresh your memory, Cottage is a charity which has been set up to repair nursery equipment. Now, it's given in turn to low-income families and children with special needs, so it's quite important that they get this equipment, and it's all donated. Our challenge was to completely kit out this workshop and try and get as much machinery as we can to help carry out the repairs to the equipment. And as you can see, everybody's busy working. All right in there, Ralph. Yeah. Head of kitchens, doing a lovely job. Carry on drilling. Now, that kitchen in turn will help the workforce, because, of course, you do need a cup of splosh to help you through the day, don't you, Steve?
You do indeed.
How busy are you here at Cottage?
We're very busy at times.
Yeah.
We're very busy, yeah.
And what sort of things do you do?
Well, basically, we take nursery equipment from the public that they donate to us, and we repair it, refurbish it, and send it out to where it's needed. We can collect if necessary, or it can be delivered here to Garden Street, which is near Westbar Green Police Station in middle of Sheffield.
Right, and you do other things as well, don't you, for Cottage?
Yeah, I'm home safety fitter for Cottage, which means I go out to, to people's houses and basically fit such things as safety gates and fire guards.
Right. What things are you looking for in particular? What bits of equipment?
Well, we've got a lot of children in Sheffield waiting for cots, playpens and high chairs.
Right.
We really do need these things.
Right, so if they have anything that they can give away, they should bring them to Garden Street, or you can pick them up.
That's correct, yes.
Fantastic. Well, I won't keep you because I know you're busy. Lovely. As is everybody here, including British Conservation Trust volunteers who have got paintbrushes in hand. Are you all right, lads? Yeah. Oh, yeah, these are the corner. You're right out there, Eddie.
Yes, thanks.
Lovely. Go steady, Eddie. I don't want you coming down. Yeah. Now, the lady who got us involved in the challenge is Kate Stevens. How's it going?
It's going very well, actually, thank you.
Yeah.
We've had some very generous offers. We've got square deal carpets upstairs, working upstairs to our soft store area.
Do you know, I think I can hear them tapping away up there.
And they're going to do some of the carpeting and flooring for us in other areas of the workshop as well.
But you are in need of some equipment, aren't you? I mean, you've got this fabulous piece here.
Yeah, this is a wonderful machine. There's all sorts of things, but of course it isn't ours. It's on loan. Now, if the gentleman who owns it ever feels he needs it back,
I'll either sit on the machinery or sit on him, Kate.
Right, well, whichever, I don't mind, whichever you choose.
Yeah.
But if that happens, then we obviously are going to be very short, and we do need the smaller individual machines.
Right,
like
so what are we looking for?
Well, there's a belt and disc sander, bandsaw, spindle sander, bandsaw, there's a mortising machine. All these type of things will work in conjunction with this big machine.
And they don't have to be new, do they?
No, reconditioned is fine, as long as they work properly, of course, and they're safe.
Yeah.
That's fine, yes, but if they're new, that's even better. But we are, we'd be happy with anything, actually.
Okay. Quite a lot's changed, actually, since last week when Si was here. You've had a really good paint job done.
That's right. We've painted all along here. We've painted our beams, which were rusty. We've got a proper flooring down now, industrial floor paint, so that cuts down on the skidding and the slipping and the dust and things like that.
But it's equipment that we're
after. It's
after.
really the equipment, the woodworking equipment, and, of course, any baby equipment that people feel they want to donate as well.
OK. You've heard the plea. If you can help us, we've only got until the end of the week. We're going to be checking up on Kate and everybody down here at Cottage. If you can donate anything machinery-wise, give us a ring, 0500 200 150. Please ring the number, because we could do with your donation. Kate would be very happy, and so will I. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Georgie. Well, let's hope we can make it on time. We've got just 4 days to go. Thanks to everybody who's been helping out so far. And Georgie will be back again on Wednesday with the latest details. OK, we'll take a break now. Coming up, a chat with author Joanna Trollope, and Heartbeats Blaketon gets his comeuppance from our Glenda. See you for that in a minute.
The heartless conman and the people he duped out of hundreds of thousands of pounds.
What next for Danny Boy as the chairman quits Hillsborough?
And why they're wild about the West. Meet the whip-cracking White Oaks.
Just add balm. To enter into a world not of this earth, just add Gates of Pearl. For a cruise holiday in heaven from as little as £765 plus free insurance, go to your nearest Thomas Cook and just add Royal Caribbean International. It's like no holiday on earth.
Glasses usually take a lot of punishment. Your children is grabbing your glasses, and each time your glasses stay in a wrong way. You should consider Memoflex. You can bend them. It's coming back like this. Is metal with memory, and Memoflex help people to make sport, ski, and to have children safety.
Welcome to the knockout world of JJB, where JJB pay your VAT. You beat the fat and we pay the VAT. Yes! Lose today on Sportswear. And the greatest selection of sports footwear in the UK. Yes, massive savings on all stock in all stores. Yes, 17.5% off all your sporting needs, cause JJB pay the VAT.
Welcome back. Well, there are a handful of writers whose books fly off the shelves the moment they're published, and our next guest is one of them. She's been labelled the Queen of the Arga Saga, a title she says is nonsense. Her latest, Marrying the Mistress, here it is, will no doubt be another bestseller. I'm already hooked, and I found it very hard to put down last night. Welcome, Joanna Trollope.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Lovely to be here.
I'm a big fan of your books, as I know many, many people are. What does it feel like to be one of these elite few writers who, whenever you bring out a new book, you know it's going to sell?
I don't really think about it. I don't think about it at all. I mean, I think about the readers, particularly when I'm writing. I feel they're kind of with me when I'm writing. I'm conscious sometimes when I'm writing a scene of the effect it might have on somebody reading it. But I get quite a surprise, you know, when I see a poster on a railway station or something. But you have to remember that this sort of success came to me quite late in life, so maybe my head was screwed on by then.
So had you had a long struggle to become established?
I'd been writing for about 20 years before I got anywhere, yes. So a great example of kind of dogged persistence.
Really? Yeah. Were you one of these people, sort of poor writer in a garret, and suddenly there it happened for you?
When I was doing other
something
things,
else?
I was teaching part-time, and, you know, the family. Very important always. But the writing, it was there in the background with this nagging feeling that I had not so much something to say, but maybe I had a fresh way of saying it. And that one day the moment would be right. And it wasn't right in the 80s. I started writing these contemporary novels in the late 80s, and they sank without trace. And it wasn't till the 90s, and we got more reflective, I suppose, with the turn of the century coming up, and we began to want to put our kind of emotional houses in order, that these books caught on.
What is your secret, do you think? Why your novels rather than other people's?
Search me, as the kids say. I suppose it's because I've got an eye for the sort of nub of a relationship. I can only think it's that. I mean, there's a million things I can't do, but I just do seem to be able to pinpoint how a relationship feels when it's going wrong. I mean, sadly, I'd love to write about relationships going right, but it doesn't make for very page-turning fiction.
You do write as well about rather middle-class people living in beautiful parts of the world. The thing that they say, the Arga Saga, which I know you don't like that title.
Well, I'm tired of it now. It's just patronising, isn't it? And the last few books have not been set in beautiful places. In fact, only the first 3 or 4 were. And then I thought, oh, I'm getting stereotyped, look what the media's doing, you know, it's put me in this middle-class box. So now they really aren't at all. And in fact, I think that really the whole of England is pretty middle-class now, except perhaps for the Duke of Devonshire.
Well, maybe it's something like that. I mean, they say lots of people read the Daily Mail and that kind of thing. Maybe it's kind of a general sense of lifestyle, isn't it?
Yes.
And your books appeal to that kind of reader.
Yes, they do. But what I'm really doing, because I'm really quite subversive, I think, is showing how thin the veneer of apparent prosperity and security is. You know, people look as if they're okay. They can go on holidays abroad. They've got 2 cars. It all looks quite solid and safe, but in fact, it's a very thin facade.
Well, that is very much the theme of your new book, isn't it? It's basically it's a judge in his 50s who suddenly decides after a long marriage to a woman who's basically cared for him and the children all her life that he wants to marry a young career woman barrister, isn't it? And it's all about that. Now, you have had a bit of criticism about the way you come quite hard on the wife, don't you? You're quite critical of the wife.
Well, it's just that I wanted readers to look beyond the stereotype. Instead of always thinking that the abandoned wife was in the right and the abandoning husband was always in the wrong, and that the mistress was always a wicked, unprincipled sex pot. All I'm saying is, Could we look at these clichés again and see if it's always the case? Suppose the wife has been steadily denigrating her husband over 30 years. Suppose the husband isn't after sex, but after a bit of self-respect. Suppose the mistress is a real person, not all fishnets and cleavage. You know, can we just look at these stereotypes again? That's all I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's very fascinating. It is totally gripping. I'm halfway through it myself, and I was up till midnight last night.
It's really all I ever want to hear. I never mind whether people love the books or loathe them, as long as they tell me they couldn't put them down.
What gives you your ideas for a new novel? I mean, does it ever come to a point where you think, I can't think of another good idea?
It could be something like standing in the checkout at Tesco, you know. It could be some little overheard thing. It could be something that's been growing on me for years. It could be something from my childhood, like The Rector's Wife, because my very fascinating grandmother was a very frustrated priest's wife in the 50s, and I was born in their rectory and spent a lot of the time with them in my childhood. And I think her terrible sort of disappointment and imprisonment in this very circumscribed life, I think that rubbed off on me. So it comes from all over the place.
Do you ever, I mean, your own marriage broke up, didn't it, shortly before you embarked on writing this book?
Yes, it did.
How much of your own experience is in this book?
Almost none. I had to get better from, I really fell into quite a deep pit because it was the end of a second marriage, and nobody's very proud of that. And I really had to wait till I was better before I could write this. And so that's why I think it seems odd that I don't stand up for the wife on her own. I do want to convey her feelings of disorientation and fear, and I do give her quite a happy ending.
Oh, well, I've not got that far, so I shall
well, you'll see. I certainly don't punish her at the end. I wouldn't want to.
Joanna, it's been lovely and fascinating to talk to you. We could talk all day, but we have to end it there. Thanks very much for coming along today.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with the book.
Thanks so much.
Now we better move on, because ex-Emmerdale actress Glenda Mackay has been putting the stars through their paces in our new fitness series. In tonight's episode, she comes up with a fitness programme for Heartbeat's Oscar Blaketon, played by Derek Foles, when they head to Dragon's Health Club at Yeadon near Leeds.
I'm going to meet Derek Foles, who plays Oscar Blaketon in Heartbeat. Now, I know Derek likes a bit of golf, but we're going to get a bit of a walk done today, and also we're going to go into the gym. Hi, Derek.
Hiya.
I've got to give you a kiss. Is it gorgeous out here?
You know, this is, as you know, this is Otley. And,
yeah.
And down there is where we filmed the first 5 years of the police stuff.
The first 5?
It's a police station down there.
That's where you used to do all those shouting scenes.
I know,
I used to be scared of your character.
Really?
Is he like you?
Not at all. No, I'm very mild.
I'm sure he shouts a bit sometimes.
I'm very mild and very quiet. And
so when you get out of your costume,
yeah,
you leave Blaketon behind.
So years ago, when I was in the RAF doing my national service, and I had this drill instructor called Corporal Maund, you see, and he used to come up to me like this, you see. And he used to say, "You're an horrible little airman, that's what you are."
Ooh.
And I thought, yes, I'm going to base Sergeant Blaketon on my drillings. Yeah, that's what happened. Well, I'd just like you to know that in the light of recent events, I'll be disbanding the Crime Prevention Committee.
Well, that may be no bad thing. Of course, the important thing is that matters are under control again. Back in safe hands, as it were.
Yes, well, thank you, Sergeant. Constable?
Oh, there is one other little matter outstanding, Mr. Blaketon.
Oh, yes?
The beer that was stolen from Hampton's Brewery. I understand some of it made its way to the Aidensfield Arms. Of course, I'm sure that you and Miss Ward, along with the other publicans, were unaware that it was stolen.
I'll pretend you never said that, Sergeant.
But the question is, does ignorance constitute defence? Or should we be considering charges of receiving stolen property?
Just you try, Craddock. And the only pub that will serve you will be in Llandudno.
So, what do you fancy doing today as far as the workout's concerned?
I am in your hands. I want you to take me in hand and show me some brilliant things to do. I really would like you to train me up and...
Right then, we shall see what we do.
Make me 24 again.
Make you 24 again. We shall see what we can do.
Around the waist.
Around the waist, 24. Right. We'll work on that waistline. This
All right,
way.
Here we go. Come on then.
OK, Derek, what we're going to do first is we're going to mobilise the joints of the body, which is really important before we do some exercise. This is the treadmill. We're going to do some nice walking, brisk walking on this.
How fast are we going?
If you press the start button here, this exercise is working and toning up your muscles in your legs and also your bum. It's also, more importantly, working your heart and your lungs. We're exercising them and getting them nice and fit. So it's really good cardiovascular work. The best way and the most healthy way to lose weight is by doing exercise and creating a deficit between the amount that you eat and the amount that you expend in calories.
Yes.
And if you do some exercise like this 3 times a week, that's the best way to lose weight.
Will you
the
be
best
with me
way
3
to
times a week?
I will come 3 times a week and put you through your paces. So, Derek, did you enjoy your workout?
I really enjoyed it. Rather. And I'm starving.
I can tell.
And this is great.
Good. Well, we're having a nice, healthy lunch now.
Yeah. Well, you are. No, it's just
What
not
about
healthy.
you?
This is meatloaf.
It's very healthy.
So why is it, I think it's good for me.
Yeah.
I think I've lost a stone, you know. It's just you being with me. Can you be with me 3 times a week?
Certainly.
Okay.
Tuck in and enjoy.
All right, thanks.
Well, I've bagged up first because in the last of the series, Glenda goes to work on me and my daughter next week. And just before we go, we'd like to announce the winner of last week's soap competition. Now, we asked which programme was celebrating its 15th birthday, and the answer is, of course, EastEnders. And these lucky 4 viewers win all the goodies, so well done to them. Now that really is it. We're back tomorrow and Carolyn Hodgson goes behind the scenes with Posh Spice at London Fashion Week. And we've a special studio makeover from hairdresser Mark Hill and makeup artist Jeanette Anderson. Calendar's coming next, but from me and the team, good night.